You're listening to The Objective Jerk, and I am said jerk. How's everybody doing? Hope everybody's doing well. I don't know, I wasn't really planning on doing a podcast just yet. But I know just some stuff that's, I'm trying to, it's been crazy, right? It's just been overload, which is, I guess, expected, and you have to kind of step away a little bit. I mean, when like kind of new information kind of comes out, maybe I'll watch something, but yeah, it's just crazy right now. But, even though I'm trying to, I guess watch things that distract me and try and keep myself busy. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but I'm still kind of, I still catch some stuff and whatever, this and that. Now, I'm still on the belief that I don't know the dude's name, but the guy who was apparently gay because his lover was a gay man, trans, Furby or something. I still believe that I'm still more on the side that he shot and killed them. But I don't know, it's kind of, and I like a good conspiracy. They're entertaining. Sometimes they're stressful, sometimes they're sad. But I didn't really feel like it was like a conspiracy with Charlie Kirk, right? But then as more stuff kind of comes out, I don't know. So what do we know right now? So they got the guy, supposedly the individual who confessed, who on various discords and everything, it does appear that other people knew of it. I'm not saying they helped, but I think if at the very least they helped plan. He probably maybe shared his plan with his lover, and because he messaged that person to go get the gun that he left in the woods. Which seems, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. Like it seems like, okay, that's plausible, but it's obviously that person knew, so you're not just going to randomly tell somebody. So that person knew what was going on, that so he's an accomplice. If you have two or more people, it's a conspiracy, right? And then they got some video of the guy walking around before the incident, like he's got like a fake leg, a stiff leg. So they're thinking he's got the rifle kind of broken down in his pant leg. And so basically, from what I have learned, is he got in like with it in his pant leg. He got to his spot. He assembled the rifle. He shot Charlie Kirk. He disassembled the rifle. Jumped off the thing. So even then, he jumping off, I would think, even if, I don't know, I don't, watching the video is kind of hard to see, but then he reassembled the rifle and then put it in the woods. Now, it could be it was disassembled when they found it. And that's just a small little piece of information that we don't have. But if I'm not mistaken, they reported that they found, but I don't know, maybe it was disassembled. Because if it was assembled, that makes no sense. Why would he? I understand him bringing it in that way, assembling it, and maybe even disassembling it to take it with him because he didn't want to leave it there. But if you're going to dump it, why would you reassemble it? So it had to be either that's complete BS, or that's just they found it unassembled. I don't know. We'll find out more information, I guess. But so there's that, and then I don't know. The FBI not wanting to divulge his lover's information was kind of weird, and I don't know. That's not a big deal, but again, it's like when you take a bunch of little weird stuff, it seems kind of. And some people are thinking that like he was shot from behind, and what you see is the exit. And so basically, some people think that the trans lover individual, I don't know what his name is basically like Oswald. You know what I mean? Maybe he was in, because I think Lee Harvey Oswald was involved in a capacity to the planning. Like I think he thought maybe he was the primary shooter. Maybe he knew of another one. Probably not. I think he thought he was, planning to assassinate JFK by himself, had it all planned out, but then CIA was also there and had other shooters and had, all kinds of contingency plans, and he was a patsy. They blamed it on him, and then they killed him. Now if this dude, but I don't know, see, so they could have learned from their mistakes. So maybe he was like another Patton. So, but then I'm like, okay, let's say, just for argument's sake, that it was a conspiracy by certain individuals to remove Charlie Kirk. The motive, there's no motive. You know what I mean? Like, if you're an individual, let's say I don't know, government official or something involved in this, and I have the new MK Ultra, and we got somebody, we have an individual who's working with somebody and making sure he's good to go and got everything he need, and he's thinking the right way, and he's got a good plan and whatever, the, what do you call it, their handler. And I'm like, okay, so I want to remove Charlie Kirk because he is making Christianity popular, or he's bringing a lot of faults that are on the left and on the LGBT community to light, and the gender and the violence and everything. Like he's just is exposing a lot of the BS that the left is pushing. Is that, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's a motive, but is it really a good enough one? Because that's the only thing. But the thing is like, okay, let's say again, I'm that individual and I want to stop Charlie Kirk for those reasons. I'd have to look at Trump assassination attempt and what it did for him and for the right and everything. Because it boosted, jump-started, whatever you want to call it, it helped President Trump's re-election. Maybe it didn't save it, but it definitely helped. And then you look at like 9/11, right? Which I believe was not committed by our government. I think our government knew that it was planning and they just took advantage of the situation. Maybe that many people died. Maybe I don't know. But I think maybe they thought it was a small sacrifice, because look what it did to the country. Look what it did. Everybody united. Everybody came together. They were able to pass the Freedom of Information Act. They were able to go to Iraq willy-nilly, no problem. All these things, nobody batted an eye until 10 years later or whatever. I mean, that was sooner than that. But so now if you take me as an individual who wants to remove Charlie Kirk, hypothetically, I'm not doing this very well, but I'm trying to look at it from the mindset of somebody. You had to be like, you know what? I don't think this is gonna work. This ain't gonna do for our cause, for our argument, what we would like it to do. You know what I'm saying? the only people that benefit from Charlie Kirk's death, other than retarded liberals who don't, well, yay, whatever, but is the right. You know what I mean? Because, I mean, look, you have people just flooding to Turning Point and people just going crazy, upset. It's like the same kind of reaction from, not to the same extent, but it's the same type of reaction that like we had with 9/11, right? And the same kind of reaction we would have had if Trump would have been killed. So when Trump was this, the assassination attempt was on him, the left and certain government officials had something to benefit. Yeah, they would have brought, people would have came out and, there would have been anger and this and that. And, a lot of people would have switched over maybe, but they still had something to benefit from it. You know what I mean? With Charlie Kirk, they don't. Not at least in the same way. I don't think. I don't know. But so the only people, I'm trying to look at this as objectively as I can, right? The only people that really benefit from this is the right. Because look what's going on right now. So then it's like, okay, so if this was some sort of conspiracy and all these weird things, then that means this was a conspiracy from the right. And then it makes me think like, okay, all these, because like the last 10 violent public whatever shootings, whatever kind of tragedies, whether it's kind of a lot of loss of life or a little bit, have all been trans individuals, which I believe trans individuals it's a mental disorder. They're sick in the head and they're and it's demonic. I still believe all that, right? But what if all of those was perpetuated by the right to stop the gay movement, which is not a bad thing necessarily. I know it sounds bad, but to get, because I mean, look at what the left is just crumbling, man. It is just going down, and it's like I'm sitting here trying to figure out what are they thinking? Like, how do they think? It doesn't make sense to me. I mean, yes, you have some psychos, AOC and stuff, but I'm just like, and then even okay, you take one of these individuals who's trans and they're angry about it and I'm going to attack whatever and this and that. Wouldn't they realize that this is not going to look good for their community? Again, I know they're not mentally there and it's like, but if you look at it as like it's the right side of the government manipulating trans to do this, so it just really shuts down the movement, pulls more people over, because I mean it's gonna be, the country is gonna be straight up red. And you're like, well, what are you complaining about? And I'm like, well,
stay with us. We'll be right back.
Thanks again for listening to The Objective Jerk. I greatly appreciate it. If you could like, subscribe, comment on wherever you're finding this, and you can also email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. So hope you're enjoying it, and please continue on with the episode. Yeah, that's nice, I guess, but not to do it that way, though. You know what I mean? It's like, it's still, yes, I want Christianity to be the dominant force in America, and I think, conservative ideals are ideal, but I don't want them to get there by manipulating and murder and conspiracy and stuff. You know what I mean? So when I kind of, I don't know, I saw a couple things and some people talking about it, and I was like, man, what is it? Maybe, was it a conspiracy to shoot him? But then I was thinking about it, and I'm like, it doesn't make sense, though, from the left. But it makes sense for the right to do it. And then I start thinking about all the trans stuff going on right now, and I'm just like, oh man. And it kind of, I'm like, oh, I hope I'm wrong. I do, but kind of makes sense though, you know? I don't know, because I mean that's the thing is the government is shit. The government's corrupt. With red, blue, what don't matter. You know what I mean? So, and that's one of the reasons I'm trying to not focus on politics as much. And I was doing pretty good until this kind of happened, but even then, I'm still just not. You know, if let's say Trump was in his first term and he was for his other one, I would vote for him again. And I don't know, man. Like I don't know. It's like it almost I seem to be. I was much more. I don't know if I was happier, but before I got into politics, man, it was just things were a little better, And it's just, but it's like I can't just, I don't know. It's crazy. It's weird. I mean, it's not going to change. You always got the same puppet masters, and the country is going to be 20 years from now. Conservatives are going to be where liberals are now. If there is America 20 years from now, you know what I mean? Because that's how, conservatives are where, right now, conservatives are where liberals were 20 years ago. They just keep moving. The ball just keeps getting moved in one direction. It never goes back. It only moves in one direction. Sometimes it stops, goes slow. Sometimes it goes a little faster. But it always keeps going in that same direction of debauchery, sin, and corruption. It doesn't matter who you vote for. So, what matters is God and Jesus and your faith. Because in the end, when you pass on, doesn't matter who you voted for. No, it matters who you've accepted into your heart and who you worship and all that kind of stuff. That's what matters, So, and that's what I'm trying to focus on and be better at. But again, it's hard for me to not just, it's hard for me to just, not even care about whatever. I'm hoping, I haven't prayed about it, but maybe I will start that after this next election, which I think Vance will win, and then I'm just going to be done. I don't even know if I'm going to vote, though. I don't know. Because it's like, what type of evil do you want to vote for? I mean, yeah, I don't agree with abortion and things like that, but it's like, I don't want the country that I think it should be to get to where they need to be through murdering their own people or conspiracies, or you know what I mean? Like, that's just lame. That sucks. Because just think about it for a second. Who is benefiting from Charlie Kirk being murdered? It's the right. I mean, look at what's going on. And even before this, a rational person would have to realize that too. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I'm like, if I'm a left-wing crazy person, I mean, they're crazy, but it is kind of convenient though that there's just so many trans individuals committing these. Again, I still believe that they got mental problems and they're influenced by demons and the devil. I mean, look at the drawings that what's his face had, and it's just like but I'm kind of wondering if our I mean, there's no question our government is involved in all this kind of stuff, but it's just like, which side, which way is it going? You know, the people who are really the puppet masters, they pulled the strings and made, you know, this huge, you know, gay trans movement and you know, hating on white people and all this kind of stuff. But then it's like, okay, they took it as far as that could go. Now they're bringing it back. I don't know. It's crazy to think about, but it's just, if you look at it as to who benefits from these past violent aggressions that were committed by trans individuals, whether they were set up or whether they, you know, I mean, it's obvious some of them, they did it, but it's like, who was kind of helping them along, you know? Could have somebody be helping them, you know? But it's like, it's possible. But when you look at like who benefits from it, it's like, well, wait, hold on a second. It's crazy. I don't know. It's sad and crazy. I hate to be gloomy, but I don't know. It was just kind of, I was sitting there just thinking about it, and I was like, man, what if, you know? And that's completely possible too. That it's all from the, you know, I'm not saying like Trump and you know, like even people in government are being manipulated in certain things. But like Kash Patel is, I don't know. I don't really like the guy. But the whole thing, you know, the Epstein files, both sides, nothing. So what does that tell you, you know? And then it's just, if the FBI didn't want to release the information that got out because of whatever this and that, you can't say like the FBI. I mean, the FBI, look who's in charge now, and they've had time to, you know, pilfer people who, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? They're just doing what they're told. So, I don't know, man. But it is things like this that really solidify my faith and realize that that is the path to go. Don't get hung up on all this crap. Just focus on Jesus, on being Catholic, and everything will be all right in the end, you know? Because, I mean, I don't mean to, I don't know. Like, this is crazy. This is crazy. I don't know. We'll see when some more evidence. Like I said, at this point, I mean, there are some things that do seem a little strange and could be, you know, tacked as conspiratorial. But I haven't, nothing really that's like, whoa, dude. I don't know. Because like I said, the gun thing's a little weird. Why would you? But, you know, did they find it intact? I can't remember if I saw that. Yeah, I don't think they really specified. You know what I mean? And there's lots of, you know, people assuming and seeing this and whatever. They're seeing people doing hand signals, and, you know, conspiracy theorists are going nuts. So I still think my original thought, which is, you know, just a trans individual didn't like Charlie Kirk, because the shot, yes, it was hard. Is it impossible? No. And he has had experience shooting, and, you know, so it's not impossible by any means. So I think I'm still on the side of the individual committed the shot. I think he had friends or some, you know, people that were helped him plan it. So there's a conspiracy within that. But as far as like, you know, the deep state or the government or whatever, I don't think so. But it is possible, you know. And if it's true, it just, you know, it could be from either side. But to me, what makes sense, if that's the case, is it would be from the right side. So then they're just going to clinch the elections. the next one, and the one after that, probably. You know what I mean? Crazy. Let me know what you think. I'm curious. But I appreciate your time, and hope everybody's doing well. Try to stay off it a little bit, But anyway, that's all. Again, thanks for hanging out. God bless. I'll see you next time. Bye. You just put yourself through another episode of The Objective Jerk. Thanks again for hanging out with me. Please email me at theobjectivejerk@gmail.com. Like, subscribe, comment, wherever you find this, follow. It all helps. But thanks again, and I'll see you next time.